When dealing with fashion and style, mistakes are made. We buy things we like in the moment and eventually realize they probably weren't worth the trouble, effort, or money to procure them, which is an awesome word, procure. I like saying it anyway. No other piece in fashion encapsulates this theme more than sneakers, and we all know that. And in my case, Japanese collabs and Japanese footwear. So in honor of that vice, we're gonna go ahead and cover some of my biggest Japanese sneaker regrets that I still have, while at the same time exploring some better options or advice that will keep you from making the same choices and mistakes I did. I'm Reggie Casual. Let's get it. So we're gonna start with the React Element 87. I know that was kind of crazy. React Element 87, the original sail light bone. Now I know what you're thinking. These were not a collab, like at all. But in a way, they kind of were. The original sail light bones, the one that you see here, were revealed on the undercover runway and was the reason they blew up like crazy. And by the time they did release, it was revealed that the sail light bones, this original colorway, weren't a part of the undercover collab, and we had to wait for that official release. So that was a big red flag, but even more so, the shoe was still an uncomfortable mess. The React sole is cool, but the damn shoebox is awful. It's just too narrow. It just is. The material always slipped like crazy as well, and all in all, the sneaker never really lived up to its true potential, nor did it really warrant its popularity, which is probably why Nike abandoned it after milking it like crazy. And they're not even glass case worthy. These ain't worth that, in my opinion. They're not worth the glass case, but somebody might feel differently. However, for me, it's definitely a regret. Next up, we have the undercover overbreak, and I can already hear you. Like, yeah, that is definitely a regret, dog. Like, I don't even know why you did it. I get it, but hear me out. I do have a particular soft spot for undercover, so sometimes, yeah. But the case for buying these was a bit different. So let me explain something to you. If you are a fan of Japanese fashion, to a degree that is just untenable, like me, you will almost absolutely buy a funky pair of footwear one day. You will. You'll buy something off kilter that would absolutely get you socially murdered in the United States, where I'm from, but it's completely normal in Japan. The problem is, I never truly found a way to put these in my rotation. Yes, I wear some particularly interesting outfits from time to time that seem in line with a pair of sneakers like these. The problem is that there are far better and more intense and interesting pieces than a pair of Nike undercover collabs. Why not go like Julius, designer Onitsuka, Y3, or even non-Japanese like Boris Bajan Saberi or something like that? Something that has more use as a legacy sneaker in your collection that still has some interesting features without the extreme Nike branding, the overuse of graphic elements, and of course, that overbreak thing. These just sat in my closet with no real purpose. And when you have a sneaker in your closet that has no rotation properties, it's just, it has to be a regret. It has to be. What is my advice? Don't get caught up in the moment. So before we get to the next sneaker, I gotta level with you. Anytime you buy glass case sneakers, those ones that are like collectibles rather than, wearables, it's an automatic issue because you go in knowing you're not gonna get a lot of wears out of it. You just know this. Almost all the regret goes to how much you actually paid for that glass case. And for me, that distinction goes to the NERD Human Race NMD Fuji Rock Edition that only released in Japan. Now, I don't even want to tell you how much I actually spent on these because it's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed by how much I spent on these, but I wanted them so bad, because I was a big fan of the whole Pharrell NERD solar system, as it were. But I'm not walking around with NERD sneakers, and the colorway just doesn't complement what I have in my closet most of the time. This, with its, cloth upper, it's gonna be destroyed in like 5 seconds. Look at the color. There's nothing you can do with this. If it gets dirty, it's over. It's over. Basically, any wear case is pure parody. Look, I understand sneaker collecting is a thing, and I'll never bash it. I used to be in that world too. But when it's mainline brand releases like Nike and Adidas, no matter how much they sell it or how hype a sneaker gets, they're never really worth the buy-in. Not really, especially in the aftermarket, which I'll be honest with you, I did buy these in the aftermarket, which is the reason why I paid so much money. Never again, never again. I will never be that big of a fan of anything ever again. My advice in this regard, even if you smell spending a massive amount on footwear, get the better, more well-made footwear over what seems like a shiny new object. It's just sitting there, you just can look at it. I remember that time when I bought those overpriced sneakers that I'd never wear. That's just, at least for me, that is not a good feeling. But the regrets don't end there. I got 3 more. But before that, a message from our sponsor, Squarespace. A big part of fashion is community, and building a fashion brand or any business requires a strong one. That's why using Squarespace for your new website might be the way to go. Besides being packed with great website templates, built-in SEO and analytics, Squarespace's new members areas make it easy to create, foster, and grow a community of true fans. Give back by giving members exclusive content, discounts, and much more, all while monetizing your business. So use our code squarespace.com/thecasual to save 10% off of your first website and let Squarespace help you build your brand, business, and community. All right, so as you may have noticed so far, my biggest Japanese sneaker regrets have primarily come from collabs that simply weren't worth it. And this next one is along the same lines, but comes with an asterisk. The Fragment Nike Dunk High Tokyo was a pretty cool release, but I bought it only because I was compromising for what I really wanted. The only Dunk High I've ever absolutely loved was the Fragment Dunk High Beijing, which these ain't. The deep purple and black colorway always intrigued me, and it went seamlessly with what I wear, and it was Fragment. However, since I live in Tokyo and the Tokyo version of that sneaker came out, and I thought I'd be slick, and boy, was that a folly in compromise. I just didn't like this sneaker, and I totally forgot to sell it or give it away, which means I have no explanation as to why it is still in my closet. I just found them like, yo, that is a regret. Because there's no meaning, no extended insight except don't compromise. That's my advice. To be fair, today I rarely compromise with my footwear. I get the best of what I like or I just skip. However, it's worth saying that sneakers like Dunk Highs or popular sneakers are only cool for a time. In this case, timeless fashion and interesting designs are worth searching for and worth keeping, while something like this just may not be worth the buy-in. And you certainly can't compromise. Don't want something else and buy the other thing. If I had got the Beijings, and even though they may have a high resale price, they probably would have hit rotation more. But I think of it more like a moment in time rather than, oh my goodness, I need to get those Fragment Beijings like right now. I don't feel that way anymore, but I still remember how much I liked the sneaker when it came out, and I remembered that I bought these because I liked that sneaker. It's just, don't do that. Don't do what I did. If you like something, get that thing you like, not the thing that is kind of like halfway what you like. I guess they're cool for somebody, but they're just not for me. All right, so the next to last spot is a doozy. It is a Y3 sneaker. And anybody who knows me knows that I wear a lot of Y3. Now I have the box right here for this, but I already took out the sneaker, so let's just do some movie magic. Casa boot, right? I'm gonna go ahead and put that right there so you can see it. All right, the Casa boot. Now this may be a little interesting to those of you who know me, because the Casa boot goes right along with my personal style. It fits perfectly. Problem is, this is yet another compromise. My true love was the original Casa High, and a few months after acquiring this Casa boot, Y3 thought it'd be prudent to re-release the original Casa High in celebration of its anniversary. You can see how I felt. Not good. I knew for a fact I was going to get the Casa Highs, because how could I not? I still love that shoe. Add to the fact I had a superior Y3 boot slash sneaker in the No See High. Some of you might like it, some of you might not, but in my opinion, I believe that they are superior and they feel way better than these. Basically, it made the Casa boot an unnecessary redundancy that was only purchased because of the Casa original love, whose thirst was quenched once the re-release came through. Again, this is a case of just being more prudent, more savvy with your money. I didn't need to buy a sneaker from years ago that really didn't matter as far as my rotation was concerned. I could have easily worn something else. Again, you may already have something. Use what you got is the other part of my advice. Use what you have. It's probably better. And finally, these guys. Now, you would be forgiven for not knowing what these are, but these are an exact example of what I was referring to earlier. That being, in Japan as a fashion enthusiast, at least in my sector of brutalist post-avant-garde adjacent clothing, you are, without a shadow of a doubt, going to buy footwear that is totally off kilter with the mainstream. Some of you are looking at this like, dude, really? Really? But honestly, for me, it's a good thing. But sometimes you are thwarted simply by sizing issues. That's right. I don't actually regret buying this Julius front gore platform boot at all, as far as styling is concerned, because it goes with what I wear, but they are a major chore to put on, take off, etc., etc. They are made with the thickest of cow leather, making them incredibly valuable to the right foot. That foot just happens not to be mine. I had no idea I had a top-heavy foot until I actually wore these for a day and had a whole episode trying to take them off when I got home. What's more, they come in 4 sizes that are between sizes. That is, they come in a 1, a 2, a 3, and a 4. Japanese brands. Am I right? I mean, you just have to deal with these things. Now, what's crazy is I wasn't disappointed with the size choice because when it came to the overall length, it was fine. But the top area, that area right here, made these simply impossible to consistently wear. While controversial, I still quite like what the boot is. Like, I like the make, but again, this was a compromise. My true preference was for the Julius side gore lace-up boot with the same platform sole in black. Now, these were acquired instead because it's near impossible to find resale, secondhand, retail. You can't find it retail. That's just hilarious that I would even bring that up. Underground labels often share incredible popularity among their target market. The community is not as stretched as it is in the West because we're all on this little island. So it's basically a bloodbath to get stuff that you really like. If you like a brand, especially if it's underground and they offer a mail list, like an email list, you have to sign up. You have to, because if you don't, you're gonna miss out on your size because there's not that many of them. So in summary, I cautiously regret this because while it is a compromise, it's still pretty cool in my eyes. In my eyes, right? You don't have to like it, but in my eyes it is. And it's more so an issue with sizing than anything. Right? So I regret it, but it gets a little bit of leeway. It comes with an asterisk. In any case, those are a sample of my sneaker regrets, but the lesson here is always wear your footwear. That's the point. And the best stuff looks better when it gets older anyway, so there is that. In any case, let the opinions begin. Which of these do you believe is the biggest L I took based on your opinion? And which labels would you like to hear more about in the future when it comes to footwear in Japan? Or if you know any footwear, or maybe I'll just present it to you. Anyway, let it all be known in the comments. In the meantime, if you can, join us on YouTube or Patreon for future benefits and production credits. This ensures that we'll be able to deliver more consistently the showcases you'd like to see, as well as keeping this thing going and serving you bigger and better reviews and insights, while also helping us build a platform that makes all these things that we talk about more accessible to you, because that is the end game. At the very least, drop a sub, like, turn on notifications if you found this content valuable or entertaining to you, but most importantly, keep it locked right here for all of your info on international fashion and culture from Tokyo. It's your boy, and keep it casual. Yoroshiku onegai shimasu, and I'll see you guys in a minute.